also made experiments. Anybody was sick could be cured within a day or two. They remained in Camp F. If not, shipped immediately to the gas chamber, so sent to the gas chamber. I was here in this Lager F. It was scarlet fever. Scarlet fever lasts at least 5-6 weeks. You know that they have a very high fever. Eventually the skin dries up. And the whole, just like a sunburn, the skin just peels off. That's the sign that you're already getting better when the skin comes off, because with high fever, the skin becomes dried up. The Mengele, as I was in this lager, on the second tier, on his bunk bed, suddenly Dr. Mengele and his whole retinue with other doctors with whom he makes experiments comes in and looks around, sees me, goes over the capo. Who is the child? And I wasn't that dwarf. I wasn't that will. Who is the child? So the capo says, Sharlach fever, a scarlet fever, Sharlach. So Dr. Mengele gestures to me, come down. I knew what he expected of me. He made me an experiment. So I wanted to show that I'm very healthy, although I was sick with high fever. I didn't go down on the ladder from the second tier of the bunk bed. I just jumped off for my bed, smack in front of Mengele, to show that I'm very healthy. And I stood standing in front of Mengele. So Mengele said, Dr. Mengele says to the capo, get a stretcher. He brings a stretcher, tells me, lay down on the stretcher. I lay on the stretcher, and he says to the other doctors, he's going to make now an experiment on me. With such experiment, he never heretofore made such experiment. What? That the veins which go from the heart to the brain, several veins, and of course nowadays you can see it, X-ray. He didn't obey the veins. He's going to try, and says he's going to give an injection to one of the veins, the satchel, and took out the syringe and the injection. He's going to try to find this vein and give an injection to this vein from the heart to the brain. He says as follows: if he catches the vein, I'll be paralyzed the rest of my life. If he doesn't catch the vein, the injection will go to the bloodstream in the neck. I'll be finished on the spot. And I hear such a good tidings. He tells me, ladies and gentlemen, I jumped off of the stretcher, and I look at Dr. Mengele, and I start screaming. Experiments on monkey, but not on me. And I'm screaming. And I experiment on monkey, not on me. I thought I have nothing but to lose. I was sure he always had a revolver, a little gun on his belt. So he'll take the gun, he became enraged, and he shoot me on the spot. And like I was screaming, I experienced on monkeys, not on me. I jumped back my cot bed. And I keep on crying, screaming. I swear, the 5 doctors with Mengele together, they just looked at each other. You just can't imagine who was Mengele, Dr. Mengele in Auschwitz, a demigod. The biggest generals for the Gestapo, for the SS, were afraid of him. His word, a command from God. Nobody ever dared to disobey Mengele, the biggest Gestapo generals. Here, a little Jewish boy does let himself to be experimented, and I screams at him. They just looked at each other, white, pale. I was sure, in his rage, he's going to shoot me. We were standing like this for a few minutes. For this few minutes, it's such a tense time, like an hour. And I was crying, on the bed, and they looked at each other, and they walked out. I was certain he's going to send a truck. In Auschwitz, there's no cars, only trucks, because trucks, how did the bodies, he's going to send a truck and take to the gas chamber. Ladies and gentlemen, as I told you before, this is the second time I was in the clutches, in the hand of Dr. Mengele. Because easily, that nobody ever disobeyed, not do what he says. And he was the second time, it's just like if I said Abraham was thrown in a burning furnace, came out alive. Daniel was thrown in the lion's den, came out alive. Nobody will say it was a natural phenomenon, only a miracle. I was in the clutches of Mengele twice, and 2 times I came out from the lion's den or from burning furnace. And again, you see, luck. But I can go on and on, and I'll still mention a couple of things, and you be the judge. If I'm here today, it's only because of good luck, or something happened. Hashem was holding my hand, and I survived. Let me just fast forward to the death march. Marching from Poland in January, February, from Poland to Germany. Up a mountain, down a mountain, tremendously sub-freezing temperature, tremendously cold. Marching. I just couldn't march. I couldn't walk. I had this, ladies and gentlemen, this leather boot. And I throw off everything. But because I simply couldn't march. They didn't give us anything to eat. You know what we ate? The muddy snow, which hundreds of thousands of people were marching in this death march. That's what they ate, this muddy snow. Why is it called death march? People were dying like flies. The whole way from Poland to Germany, you saw piles of dead corpses on both sides. People were dying. We didn't have what to eat. And the marching, exhaustion. So, ladies and gentlemen, this leather boot, which I had, heavy leather, bore into my leg, by the ankle, bore into, and they scratched my skin, till eventually I was going up a mountain, down a mountain, and so difficult to walk, exhausted, hungry. So this leather boot scraped my skin, eventually scraped away my muscle, ladies and gentlemen, until the bone of my leg was exposed, or my ankle. It completely bore away all the skin and the muscle until the bone was exposed. As I was walking, and the leather boot, the leather shoe, scraping against the bone, you just can't imagine the pain I saw every star in the sky during the daytime, because it was scraping against my bone. I decided it's impossible, I should survive. I can't continue. I decided I'll just move out from the line. I know the Yankees, the German, have to be punctual, exact. So the line, miles on end, had to be straight as we marched. If anybody moved out a little bit from the line, a few inches, immediately was shot. This is what, or the death march, or the parade, that's called the death march. People were dying, were killed, or because either they froze, or because they emaciated, or because they marched out from the line. So I decided, since I won't be able to survive,